I'm part of a recycling community called WRAP, which is not very far from where I live, which is very convenient. And it's open even on the weekends. And it's a place where you can donate, or you can even, or you can receive and get whatever you want, full of a lot of things that would be considered trash, but really is treasure, because you can, as an art student, or even just a creative in general, you can find a lot of things that you could use. Whenever I have a project and I need some new supplies, I will go there and just have a rummage through what I can find. You won't always find what you want, because it's sort of like a treasure box. You don't know what you will find, but you will always find something better than what you're actually looking for, and it might even spark an idea and be like, oh, I could use this for this project and this part and this garment. And I've actually used it quite a lot in the past 2 years. All my projects had some sort of element of reusing someone else's rubbish, I guess, from WRAP. So I highly recommend, if you are a creative or like to use disregarded materials, to be a part of this community. So we went there to ask some questions to volunteers at WRAP, asking for their opinion on the waste of the fashion industry, and we were quite pleasantly surprised to find that they were very opinionated on it, and had a lot of ideas and solutions to what could be done.
So this is WRAP, that's Watford Recycling Arts Project. It's one of it's an informal network of scrap stores up and down the country. We talk to each other, but we all run on an individual basis. Well, it was created about over 20 years ago now, and for much the same reason that anybody wants to use up waste materials that they see. They see good stuff lying around and they think there must be a use for that. And if you gather it all in one place, it looks like this. We gather up stuff from commercial business ventures, clean industrial commercial byproduct, and we arrange it in this warehouse for on a membership scheme, so people pay a membership charge, and for us they only have to pay once. Other membership schemes run on a different basis, but they pay once for us, and then they can have everything more or less that they need for a year. And then we also have individual people's stashes, so if you've got to the point where you're giving up a craft, or you've had someone in the family die and they had a lot of craft materials or usable materials, we'll take it here and then make it available for somebody else to use. Well, we had a founder. We had a couple of founding members. Well, it actually started off with the Watford one.
Yeah.
Actually started off with the Women's Centre. The Women's Centre started it off in somebody's garage. So they started gathering stuff. So they were very aware of it, and they wanted to use it as a craft material for an outfit that didn't have much funding. They didn't have much funding, so they wanted to reuse materials that it would save them money, basically, and give people an outfit that didn't have very much money, a set of materials that they could use with people coming in on a day-to-day basis. So that's how it started, and then it just grew and grew. So Well, this has always been a vast, buzzy repository of ideas. So basically, it's the idea that we are taking stuff from going straight to waste. We know we're not stopping it ever going to waste, because it will eventually, but we're slowing it down. It will have at least one use before it goes into recycling or rubbish, should I say, basically. And I think the whole idea is for it to be educational. So it's been kind of exponential insofar as it's passed on an awareness to all the youth groups that we work with. We do workshops. We pass on the notion of reusing materials, and I think over that 20-year period, it's become much more in the zeitgeist now. Because you see, the thing was, my generation was brought up by the war generation, and the war generation were told never to waste anything, and they were taught never to waste anything, and we were brought up by them. They were our parents, so we're kind of like the missing generation between the war generation and this current generation now, that, well, actually our grandchildren's generation, that are now becoming much more aware of the need to do that again.
Yeah.
There was kind of a 30 to 40 year period where people just got so profligate, and industry was geared up very much for mass production, and along with the mass production, huge amount of waste. So we've managed to siphon off a very small amount of it, but it has been an educational amount. So it has helped to raise awareness of the issue, and just sort of keep it bubbling away there in the background, to the point now where, again, you know, we're sort of incredibly relevant again now.
My opinion on fast fashion? Well, you've got to look at me. I have nothing to do with it. I have nothing to do with it. Everything you see is totally second-hand, you know what I mean? It's all pre-loved.
As is he.
Yeah, in a nutshell, yeah, I've got no time for it at all. It's the ruin of the world, you know. I should think they're in despair. I should think, because the sheer volume and the competition is horrendous, and the sheer quantity of designs we're getting here, there must be so many of them that are just doing it with no thought at all. They're thrown together. A lot of the designs completely thrown together, but as I say, it's because of the pressure that they're under. I mean, you're some poor guy in South Korea or something, you get up every morning, you think to yourself, right, I've got another 1,000 designs to come up with today, you know? I mean, I'm only going by the sheer quantity of the stuff that we see here, and it's all the samples that are sent to the manufacturers, and they're swamped with it. They can't possibly give their full attention to everything that comes to them. I don't know what the solution is, but it's just overproduction as far as I can see. Yeah.
And it puts a lot of strain on the countries that are, you know, pressured to produce it as well.
Yeah, and they've got to do it cheap, and the competition drives price down. And more than anything else, the chief factor in it is that competition is a great thing. We're all supposed to be keeping the prices down, all the rest of it like that. All the good reasons for having competition and that, but it generates masses of waste. Because if you've got choice, if you've got 10 different designs to choose from, 9 of them are going to go in the bin. You only need the one, so you're going to do that. I don't know what the solution is entirely, but you can see that this isn't it. Maybe. I mean, I'm no expert on fashion or anything like that, but as I say, my chief observation of it is the overconsumption. I mean, slow fashion, or no fashion, more of a solution. I mean, the key to a lot of it is the concept of glamour, which I've come to understand as you know you're glamorous when other people envy you. And that might be because of the exclusiveness of what you've got, or the apparent exclusiveness, or it might be down to the obvious amount of money that's gone into producing what you've got, one of those sort of things. But there's something there, and that presumably is something to do with insecurity. If you want people to envy you, then that's an affirmation somehow that you're okay and you're doing well. You know? And to a certain extent, fashion industry, I guess, subsists on glamour.
It feeds on that.
Yeah.
That want to be
Yeah.
accepted.
Well, if you
again.
take glamour to be like my definition, then yeah, going for glamour means you're looking for insecurities, and there's people out there who are insecure. They're your customer. They're the ones that you want to remind.
But
But maybe, you know, there are people that think we can do that, you know, so that everybody's wearing hemp clothing. There is a move, yeah, people who think making clothes out of fibres that are sustainable. So their thing is hemp. So they grow this product hemp, and it's with stinging nettles. You can get the fibres out of them,
Okay.
and you can weave with it and spin it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Linen is, after all, is flax, isn't it? So they're trying to push for hemp as a crop that is sustainable. You can grow it, and it will decay. When
Yeah.
you now fast fashion out of that, when you've finished with it, you put it in the bin. It goes to landfill. A few months later, you can plough it back into the ground and grow things out of it. You know.
Yeah.
So maybe that's one of the answers. If you're gonna, maybe you can have fast fashion, if
Yeah.
at the end of the process, it becomes a useful product. So they're selling you temporary, and it's a sort of junky fix thing, isn't it? You feel good for now, but you know, after a while you're walking along and then you see somebody going by like that, and you think, well, what I'm wearing now, suddenly it's turned to ashes. And, you know, it's no longer good enough, you know. And that's part of the fashion thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you don't want to be seen wearing yesterday's stuff. You know?